Okay, here's a short commentary on the short film Aya. One of the things I think that is, looking at question number one, the rather strange behavior that she undertakes, or just kind of goes with the flow in a weird way, that this man who she's holding, Mr. Overby, his driver's card, basically, that she's here to pick him up. And then when he approaches her and says, "Hi, I'm Mr. Overby," she starts to drive him, even though she doesn't really know where she's supposed to go. She kind of pieces it together, and eventually confesses to him that she's not her driver, his driver. So the first one, the accident of identification, it's the accident on Mr. Overby's part. Aya knows exactly what's going on, but he does not. And it's when it relates to one of the other questions here, number 7. Never follow your heart, and most impulses are unnecessary. And Aya has the contrary position, suggests that no, our impulses are important. We should always be impulsive, right? And she kind of is, right? By picking up Mr. Overby and driving him to Jerusalem. And also, it seems like skipping out on somebody that she was actually there for, which is likely her partner or husband or something. She seems to be in a heteronormative kind of relationship with a daughter. And so that's a little bit alarming at the end, to think that she's entertaining this rather strange, I wouldn't call it a liaison, but something, adventure, I suppose, with Mr. Overby while having responsibilities at home, which she is shirking in some way. But it shifts that way where she says at the end, when Mr. Overby is actually acting on his impulses, when he says, "I'd like you to come in." Earlier in the story, he says, when she confesses that she's not his driver, he says, "Is this some kind of sex thing? Because I'm not interested," right? And she says, no, it's not that. And then gets into this strange kind of intimate kind of relationship. It's not sexual, but it's intimate in a way that I think is important. That relates to him playing the piano, first on her hand, very just kind of impromptu, and then later on her hand when it's on her thigh, and going through that. So at the ending, Overby is acting on his impulses when he asks her to come inside to have a drink at the hotel bar or whatever. And she is not being impulsive by going back to her family. So we have both cases of these characters that are making some kind of a claim about behavior, their own behavior, and then transgressing it at some point in the text, which is an important aspect of this. There is one other thing I think, or a few other things that I can talk about here that I think are important. The game that she plays at the beginning, right, is where she would run up to the first person who exits the off-ramp, I suppose, or who comes out of the arrivals gate, and hug them, and then hopefully that they would hug me back, whoever it is, just a random person. And she never does that because somehow her father always seems to be the first one that showed up. And she said she feels much more closer to people that she doesn't know than to family and friends, right? Again, we can see that being cultivated between the two on the drive from the airport to Jerusalem. And a similar kind of thing happens, right, with the logic of the ending, where Mr. Overby is talking about how he likes his friends, he likes his family, he likes to be around them, and it makes him feel comfortable. Whereas Aya is the reverse. And then again, at the end of it, both of them make this kind of gambit for the opposite of what they initially imparted. She goes back to her traditional, what looks like a traditional family, and he invites her into the hotel in a kind of, as a stranger, basically, a complete stranger. So those, I think, are the most important aspects of the story to focus on. And again, I've mentioned this a number of times, get in as much detail as you can about each of the texts. Get into specific moments in the text that you can explain. That's the hard evidence that you use to support whatever position you're supporting, making.